there are men out there that are willing to accommodate, because there are men that like the quote unquote bitches that like put them in their place and like are like, the quote unquote mean girls, right? So then on the other side of that, like it's a lot of pushback
No, they
because
don't. Don't ever believe it. Don't ever believe that there's a man that like that.
there are
Oh
men
no,
that
there
are
are
like
men who
that.
they
There
like
are
that toxic
definitely men
love.
that like that
No,
shit.
No, 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 no,
There
no,
are
no, no,
men
no,
that
no, no,
find
no.
that
Listen,
a
Are those
norm.
men
I'm
or
dead
male?
serious.
listen,
Like,
listen,
listen, let me
listen.
tell you
Those
something.
those men don't
and
like
Susie.
that. They subject themselves to it because they don't feel like they have any other choice.
Let me tell
They
you
don't
something.
like it. Just because it happens does not mean that they like
Okay,
it.
let me change
No,
my
there are
verbiage.
toxic
Anton, I
men that like
Maybe
it.
they
disagree,
don't like
Anton.
it, but it's their norm, and they're not used to there being
Okay,
a
but I just
peaceful,
wanted to correct
balanced
that. Just because they
life in
subject
a
themselves to
household.
it, or they weak, or they do this happy wife, happy life thing, or whatever, so on and so forth,
And it's
whatever their
not even
circumstances is,
that.
whatever it is, they
Sometimes
don't
chaos is
want
their
that.
norm. And
Don't
if and
no guy,
just
no
like there
man.
are women
It
that feel
doesn't
like
matter
if
what a
dudes
man does.
don't
Listen.
abuse them
Regardless of what his
emotionally,
circumstance
physically.
is.
All right, so let's talk about this for a second here. There are men. Basically, what she said is that there are men out there, right, that likes to be in toxic, abusive situationship, right? Men who like bitches and men who like mean girls. She said, right? All right, so I've always said this. It's a little tricky. It's a little tricky. It's not exactly as straightforward as Anton tried to put it. But the truth is that some of the things that attract us. So there's a difference between you attract something and you like something. Those are two different things, right? There's nobody that's outrightly coming out here. I say I like toxic situation. Do they attract toxic situations? Yes. That happens all the time to the best of us, right? That's why I keep saying, don't put yourself on a pedestal. Instead, just listen to this conversation long and long enough. Case studies, real life case studies, like I'm doing right here, right? And then eventually you will adjust accordingly. But the idea that you're just going to take an ideology and then master it, regurgitate it, and that, no, you need to practice this. So the truth is that people do attract toxic situations, even if they don't like it. I think what she's trying to say is that there are men that are attracted, or they find it attractive. They find I'll be honest with you. For me, myself, right? A woman who is potty mouthed, that can be sexy, right? Sometimes we call it sassy. We call it, what's the other thing that we use? We have all these different terminologies that we use, but when you flip that thing, right, and you become the person on the receiving end of it, it becomes toxic. Like you may find a girl that you think she's sassy, she's spicy, she's a fun person. You saw her being sassy to someone else and you found that attractive. Guess what? When you engage in a romantic relationship with this person, right? When you engage with them, eventually you're going to be on the receiving end of that. Okay, and then you're going to receive that as toxic, and I think that's what she's talking about. She's not, see, this is a show, so I get it, right? It's all jokes and fun until it gets real, right? The reality is that the best people in the world sometimes, the best guys in the world sometimes attract toxic situations, because what we attract or what we find attractive often becomes what we resent the most. Often. Like a whole lot of times. And that's what she's talking about, right?
There are men out there that are willing to accommodate, because there are men that like the quote unquote bitches that like put them in their place. And
so she said willing to accommodate it. I wouldn't say willing to. I think it goes back to attraction. That, like, the most powerful thing, emotions, the most powerful thing, the same thing that we don't like to talk about. We all like to think we're logical, but we're all full of shit, but we will justify it, right, by using the words, and somehow because you use the words you think you're right. No, I'm looking at your actions, right? So they don't necessarily accommodate, right, but they may find themselves accommodating it, and then it sounds like, wait, we're adults, why do we find ourselves accommodating something we don't want to accommodate? That's the power of emotions. We all do this shit, right? And if you are aware that we do it, then that's half the battle won, because then you have a better chances of controlling it. But if you're in denial, and these are sizable books, they're minimum 200 pages, you can download them absolutely for free by simply going to, for example, this one, you just go to getmymarriageback.com, smartrealestatewholesaling.com, realestatemoneysecrets.com. So yes, I am a 3 times author. Those books are out there for your consumption, and they are also available everywhere on Amazon, anywhere that you pick up books. So in case you prefer a physical book like that we don't like, we're just logical, we just don't, I'm an adult. If you're in denial, then basically you're saying there's nothing to control, and that's why we run into all these problems, because we're not aware of our incapabilities,
and like are like, the quote unquote mean girls, right? So then on the other side of that, like it's a lot of pushback.
No, they don't. Don't ever believe it. Don't ever believe that there's a man that like that.
There are men.
Oh no, there are.
So I agree with him in the sense of, like, I know what you're trying to say, but they're attracting it doesn't mean they like that. It doesn't mean they want to accommodate that. Sometimes they're not, he called it, they're weak. Yes, people can have weak moments. You really like this girl, you don't want to kick her to the curb, but you know that what you're getting right now is not really what it's supposed to be. You know that what you're receiving is toxic, right? We all find ourselves in that situation. Let's stop the cap. The awareness is your best leverage point. Just be aware that you are capable of doing the wrong thing because you're caught up in your emotions.
They like that toxic love.
There are men that find that a norm. I'm dead serious.
Listen. Those men don't like that. They subject themselves to it because they don't feel like they have any other choice.
Let me tell you
something. They don't like.
Well, they may not have any other choice. Is it possible that, for example, somebody has children with this woman, right? They may feel feelings, emotions, like they don't have any other choice. Could they have other choices? Yes. Is that a guarantee that they have other choices? No. Is it possible that this guy is just on a couch right now? It's a fat, short, and ugly guy, and he doesn't feel like he can find another wife? Yes. That's the reality of a lot of people, right? Should he take the risk and not put his home together and then go see if he can find a better woman? Absolutely not. Usually the grass isn't greener on the other side. It's actually him that needs to work on himself and his ability to attract the right type of behavior from the wife he's married. Yes, if you've married the person already, there's a higher chance that you're not going to find a better woman or man out there. Okay, higher chance. Okay, because everyone is has been influenced by this quote unquote, let me use the quote unquote toxic society that we're in. So you're better off learning how to attract, learning how to control attraction, meaning control yourself, self-control, attraction, learning how it works. You have a better chance at doing that than discarding a person that's a part of your life already, meaning a person that's actually a part of you, and then thinking you're going to find a better person. Are there situations where you may just find a better person when it's too toxic? Absolutely. We can assess that situation and then say, you know what, this situation is too toxic. If it becomes you're pouring from an empty cup, absolutely, there are also better choices out there. There are better options. As a matter of fact, during the course of your marriage for the rest of your life, you should always feel like somebody that has better options. That doesn't mean it has to be exercised. Let's be guarded. All right. What's going on, Osmosive? Long time. I haven't seen you in a minute. Good to see you here, bro. Yeah.
Okay, just because it happens does not mean that they like it.
Okay, let me change my verbiage. Maybe they don't like it, but it's their norm and they're not used to their being.
Okay, but I just wanted to correct that. Just because they subject themselves to it, or they weak, or they do this happy wife, happy life thing, or whatever.
Here we go. Happy wife, happy life. I get it. Anton hates that. But it's the reality. Okay? Anton, you have situations where you just say, babe, whatever you got, whatever you want. That's happy wife, happy life. Stop the cap. Just all together, let's stop the cap, okay? Yeah, whatever you want, babe. Why do you do that? Because you know you also benefit from that. That's why you do that, right? So it's easy to throw that statement into a box and say it's completely always wrong. No, it's not. It's actually never wrong if you're in the right context. The context could be wrong. If you're hurting yourself because you're doing happy wife, happy life, you're wrong. It's not the statement that's wrong. You're wrong, absolutely. Whoever that person is that's pouring from an empty cup, it's not necessarily wrong, but it's not beneficial, right? Because I actually don't like the word right and wrong when we're talking about romantic context as well. I like to keep it on the fence, because again, when it comes to romance, you may need to be on either side. An absolute or terrible, absolute and extremes are the enemy of relationships in general. And I keep saying that, and I will keep saying that. So let's move on to the next segment. And